Jeffrey believes the fitness YouTubers when they say that there's no such thing as a perfect diet. And so Jeffrey follows the fitness YouTubers' advice to eat junk food as long as it fits his macros. Jeffrey gets fat. Adonis has been shredded for years. It's not even difficult to stay lean when he eats the perfect diet. The peasants around him look in confusion, but Adonis continues to feast. All of the fitness YouTubers you see are complete pussies. They say there's no such thing as the perfect diet. That's bullshit. I'm going to show you exactly what the perfect diet is right now. My name is Hamza. I help young men go through the Jeffrey to Adonis transformation through self-improvement. We don't do any of the standard fitness YouTuber bullshit around here. Scroll down right now, click on the subscribe and the post notification button if you want to join in on the cult. My diet has been horrendous because I trusted these guys on the internet. These motherfuckers told me you can eat whatever you want, you can eat all the junk food as long as it fits your macros. I trusted them. Because of that, I've never even considered the difference that food has on our health. When I've done the most basic research, it hurts me to think that I was stupid enough to follow fitness YouTubers. That it hurts me to think that my boys who are watching this video, who support my channel, who are in my cult, have taken the stupid advice that I have from these big ass fitness YouTubers. Because I'm telling you right now, none of those people are healthy. Just because they've got muscle and they're like shredded does not mean they're healthy, and it does not mean that they will still be alive 10 to 15 years from now. A lot of those motherfuckers are gonna get diabetes very soon. And I've said this a few times, I'll still keep saying it. You're going to start seeing them literally die. Like, you're going to see big fitness YouTubers start to die in the next 10 years because of the stupid ass diet that they're on. And I followed that advice every single day, bro. I was eating junk. The amount of junk food I was eating, I was going to McDonald's. Like, I've literally got a video, the semi-viral video that I released, the aesthetic body guide, and I literally said, oh, I eat junk food every day. I go to McDonald's every single day. I used to, like, that was not an exaggeration. It was every single day I was eating that shit, bro. Because all macros are the, you know, if all calories are the same, just eat your macros. Why would I eat clean? Like, what's the reason of eating clean? What's the reason of thinking about health if all macros are the same? You may as well eat whatever you want, right? And so I have always struggled with binge eating to the point that it makes me cry. The fitness transformation, like my body transformation, is one of the most important things to me. And feeling like you don't have any control over your diet, which you probably can relate to. Like, you want to improve your diet, you just keep on making the same mistakes. It's because the food that the people online, like, they're supposed to help you, but the food that these people are suggesting for you to eat, one, it makes them more money. You know, they get more views if it's the guy who's jacked and he's got the picture of the cereal and he says, oh, what I eat in a day, full day of eating as a fitness person. Like, but two, that food is literally addictive. The reason why you keep finding yourself just f***ing up on your diet is because you're literally addicted to junk food and you're surrounded by a culture that promotes it. It took me a while. Like, I went through a very like, I had to change my life to change my diet. It wasn't the other way around. I had to truly, like, I had to move out of this f***ing city. I had to move back into my parents' house. I had to severely reduce how much I use the internet. I don't watch YouTube videos. I especially don't watch f***ing fitness YouTubers. I had to reduce all of this and start looking at, like, real nutritional research. And every single time I'd look through, I'd just be thinking, like, those fitness YouTubers, like, they have no clue what they're talking about, saying that all calories are the same, that you can eat 700, like, these motherfuckers dead ass eat hundreds of grams of sugar per day, and they're like, oh, but if it fits your macros. And so just over a year ago, I truly started to transform my diet. I did some crazy things to do this. Over the last year, the whole year, I have had visible abs. Like, there is not one point over the whole year that I've not had visible abs. Like, this is unheard of for me. I've gotten lean before, but I would literally get lean. Like, here's a few pictures of me in uni and everything. I would get lean and I would just start to gain the weight back, because you can force yourself to get into the calorie deficit, but eventually it gets quite, like, restrictive. You've got 2,000 calories a day, you want to eat more, and the moment I start eating more, I just start binge eating again. And so I would get lean, I'd do all that work, and then I'd lose the physique that I was, like, really proud to build, up until the last year, where now I promise you, this is the truth, I can control my body fat percentage. I have full control over my diet now, because you don't get a feeling of uncontrollable urges and cravings when you eat the food that I'm about to suggest to you in the perfect diets. The perfect diet has 4 factors. It maximizes muscle growth, it minimizes fat loss, it improves your health, and it feels sustainable. If you find a diet that has all 4, you will become a millionaire. Let's break that down. Maximizing muscle growth comes from a diet in the macronutrients that are high in protein, high in complex carbs, not bullshit carbs, not pussy carbs. We're not going to eat sugar, not simple carbs. High in complex carbs and moderate fats. So we need protein around the clock to maximize muscle protein synthesis. And you can imagine this is like the process of turning protein into muscle. Like, very, very stupidly simplified. And this is how it works. Once we eat protein, this ability to make muscle is elevated, but it's like a wave and it starts going down after we've ate protein. And if we eat more protein, it goes up. What we'd like to do is keep this elevated through the entire day. Next, we want complex carbs around our workouts. This will increase glycogen, and that pretty much makes you stronger and just perform better in the gym, which will mean more muscle gain. Finally, we want moderate fats. We're not going to do the full keto bullshit. We just want moderate fats, which will just make sure that all of our hormones like testosterone are regulated and in a nice healthy level. We'll break this down in more detail soon. The second part of the perfect diet comes from minimizing fat gain, and this comes from fasting. There is no better way to structure your diet than fasting. Fasting means to not eat certain things. Most people think that it's calories. Most people think that you fast from calories. That's bullshit. We fast from carbs, maybe fats, but not calories, especially not protein. So the issue that most people have, most bodybuilders, if you're into building muscle, if you've been lifting weights for a while, the issue that you may have had with fasting, with intermittent fasting, is that you don't get protein in. These guys are telling you, okay, wake up, don't eat protein, don't eat any calories for a couple more hours till 2 p.m. But then you miss the muscle protein synthesis window that we talked about before. So we're going to couple a few things, and we're going to do what I call protein intermittent fasting. We're going to do intermittent fasting where we wake up and we just don't eat for a couple of hours, so we have like just an 8-hour window for our calories. But we're also going to have scoops of whey protein or any kind of protein powder throughout our fasting window so that our protein synthesis gets elevated and we also get the most of the benefits from fasting. So this is exactly what you do. You wake up and you immediately go and have a scoop of protein. Like so many people say that this would break the fast. I don't think so. We are not fasting from calories, we're fasting from carbs. When you just have a single scoop of protein powder, you get literally like 1 gram of carb in there, and if you mix it with water as well. So we're going to wake up and have a scoop of whey protein, and then 2 to 3 hours we're just going to do some work, stay focused. 2 to 3 hours later we're going to go and have another scoop. Do some more work, 2 to 3 hours later, have another scoop. Then we're probably going to start our eating window after about 6 hours of waking up, and we've had like 2 to 3 scoops of protein during this time. Now we're going to be close to our workout time. So our pre-workout meal, the meal that we eat an hour or two before we go to workout, will be high in complex carbs, moderate in protein. It doesn't need to be high in protein because we've just had a bunch of protein scoops, and it's going to be about moderate in fats too. And then post-workout, so the meal that we eat half an hour to 1 hour to 2 hours after our workout is going to be pretty much the same. We're going to go into more detail of exactly what you should eat, but this is the structure of the perfect diet. We're going to wake up, do intermittent fasting, but also get scoops of whey protein during the fasting window. When we break our fast, we're going to make sure that we get complex carbs before and after our workout. So that's 2 things checked off the perfect diet already, and we have 2 more. We've got to make sure this perfect diet optimizes our health and it also feels sustainable. To optimize our health in terms of diet gets very confusing, and no one really knows exactly what health really means. When you really think about it, health in terms of diet, what are you thinking? Because most people will still think it's fat loss, but we've covered the fat section. So health is actually about your gut microbiome. It's like the second brain of our body. The foods that optimize and keep our gut healthy, we can say are healthy foods. I'm gonna have a big list of healthy ingredients, but in general, it's kind of like the unsexy answer is that it's a lot of vegetables and fruits and like natural, unprocessed, non-garbage food. You don't see McDonald's in there. You don't see V-Shred. Pizza, shut up, bro. It's literally just like the one base ingredients. That's the phrase I've always said is generally, if you eat the base ingredient, you will stay healthy. The base ingredient is what you're looking for. So instead of looking for like chips, and if you go into the frozen section in some like dumbass supermarket, they're selling chips and it's got like a bunch of different ingredients. It's been processed already. The main ingredient that you wanted was potatoes. Now, if you look for the ingredient list on potatoes, there isn't one. They literally don't have an ingredient list there. Why? Because the ingredient in potatoes is potato, potato, potato. What you'd like to find is a bunch of foods like this where there is no ingredient list. It is literally just the base food. Generally, that stuff is healthy. So here is where people start asking for the macronutrient split. Even though it's been covered a million times, people always ask me, how many grams of protein? How many eat this? I don't agree with the standard advice that people give you. So you already know the advice that you've been given. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's pretty stupid advice. Doesn't really work for most people because a 200-pound guy should generally not be eating 200 grams of protein unless he's a jacked bodybuilder. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight doesn't work. What I would say instead is eat into the range of 120 grams of protein to about 180 grams of protein. If you end up inside of this range, fine. Like, what we care more about is that you get relatively close to the ideal number. Like, you get close enough to a range of it than to specifically say, okay, I'm 165 pounds, so I should hit 165 grams of protein. And honestly, I've even changed the way that I track food, and I suggest you to do this. don't even track macros. I don't think there's that much of a benefit to making sure that you get the absolute most optimum amount of carbs and fats, the split or the percentage split. That reduces the fourth part of the perfect diet, which is sustainability. Because the easier way to wrap your mind around all this is to think, okay, you have X calories. Let's say you've got 2,000 calories. It's easier to say you've got 2,000 calories, get into the range of 120 to 180 grams of protein. Anywhere around this range, in this range, is going to be good enough. And then think purely about just filling up the 2,000 calories with the huge list of ingredients here. So you might be looking at this list of ingredients and feeling a little bit, confused. Like how would I make this into a realistic meal? Literally, choose a couple of them which you think, would pair well together, and just make them together. Put them all onto a plate. Like, you don't have to make a pre-designed meal that normal people eat. Like, we don't need the name of a meal that normal people eat on the normal diets. We can have a meal which is lentils and potatoes. We can have a meal which is yogurt and raspberries, oats and nuts. Now, because we've gave you the flexibility to just say, okay, reach this many calories with roughly this much protein, and what's inside the calories, if you pick from this ingredient list, it's going to be healthy. You now have the flexibility to look at this list and just kind of see which one you feel like having today. And that's actually the more healthy way to do things, because long story short, in terms of our gut health, it's better to eat different things, quite different things, because a variety, it's kind of like cliche terms, but a variety of fruits and vegetables is the best for your health. It's not exactly the best for in terms of just, consistency, knowing that you've got the exact same meal every day. I prefer to do that personally. I prefer to literally just have the same meals every single day. But in terms of maximizing health, it's better to just rotate a bunch of these ingredients around. You've got your list, you've got your calories, you know roughly how much protein to have, and maybe you need to get a couple more scoops of protein in. There you go. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.